Welcome, everybody. Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside Upon Further Review tonight. This is the special state champions season finale of Upon Further Review podcast. I'm Eric Dudkevich alongside the coach Shannon Griffith, who's going to have to unmute his mic to say hello.
It's been a long weekend.
A long weekend, a live show, but Coach, a great show we're going to have tonight. We're going to celebrate really all of high school football in our area for this season. We have a state champion in Adams Central. We had a couple teams, 3 teams as state runner-up that we'll acknowledge. And then later on in the show, we have a special guest from the Carroll Unified Flag football team that were state champions in their own right earlier this fall. So really excited to be here live on Facebook, on YouTube, on X or Twitter. Maybe you're listening to this back on demand on our YouTube page or via our audio streams, maybe on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM. However you're doing it tonight, thanks so much for joining us. We'll be taking you through about the next hour or so, just kind of looking back at the state finals and looking back at the season and some great times and wrapping up another year. Coach, and what a year it's been. What a weekend it was down in Indianapolis. Starting right off the bat, our 2A state champions, the Adams Central Flying Jets. I mean, just talk about what you saw from them on Friday morning as you were on the call on 1380 The Fan.
Yeah, Derek Decker and I were privileged enough to be a part of the state finals on Friday and got a chance to see Adams Central finally break through at the 2A level, since at the 1A level, they had always ran into a very tough Indianapolis Lutheran. And it was a neat atmosphere, a great thing to see for Coach Mosier, well deserving of his team being in the position that they were in very dominant fashion. The kids played their hearts out. They didn't leave anything to doubt, and they just never were in a position that gave any hint that they were going to let off the gas pedal in that game. And they played a great 4 quarters. They did it the way they normally do it, running the football and a stingy defense. So everything that you would anticipate seeing from Adams Central, we saw it on Friday morning at that 11 o'clock kickoff. And it's no easy feat with that 11 o'clock kickoff. I've talked about it before, just from the standpoint of a travel and things of that nature. But you could see that their experience, having been there before, it wasn't something that was new like it was to their opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. Their 4th straight trip to the state finals. The previous 3 years in Class 1A, previous 3 years against Indianapolis Lutheran. This year, a different opponent in Linton Stockton out of Southern Indiana. And Adams Central, they fly out to that 19-0 lead. Linton Stockton makes it interesting there in that second quarter, scoring a touchdown. But then it is, from 19-6 there late, maybe early third quarter, all the way through to the end of the game, 46-6. Just quite the showing from Adams Central. Jamison Roach, played big with 142 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. Just 1 for 7 for 9 yards to the air. So a lot of running for Adams Central. Matt Heiser had 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. Joey Everett was a rusher. Adam Hershey got 2 touchdowns, 7 total touchdowns, 351 yards for this Adams Central team. And that's what they've said all year from an offensive standpoint, that another team that runs that wishbone kind of style offense, that wing T, you're going to have to beat us in the running game and stop our run game. Linton was not able to do that. And not only were they not able to do that, Adams Central did it just about like they've done it all season long.
Yeah, and it was 2 similar styles of offense. The only differential was Adams Central snapped from underneath the center and Linton Stockton was pure gun. But it was the same theoretical concept. And the play that really gave Linton Stockton trouble was Adams Central's counter play, whether they ran it with Jamison or they actually did the traditional counter, pulling the guard and tackle and handing it off to the running back. They had a lot of success with that one run play. Now, Jamison only threw it 7 times, but don't let that deceive you, because the young man can throw the football, and he's going to have a very good high school career, only being a sophomore and playing, I said above his level in that game with a supporting cast that definitely helped him. But overall, 16 rushes, 142 yards, and a part of the 351 yards on the day. Just stellar. And they held a Linton Stockton team to only 131 yards and 10 of 24 on Brylan McBride for 59 yards, who had previously against Indianapolis Lutheran, I think, threw for over 240 yards. So that had to be a concern for Adams Central going into this game of what he could do, not only running it, but also throwing it. So they did a heck of a job on all fronts. And, also, like, they got 4 interceptions. And I've said, and I told you here, the winner of this championship usually hands down goes to the team that secures the football, gains extra possessions by the turnovers, and the special teams. And in this game, I don't think it came to full fruition with 4 turnovers and big interceptions that they had on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a great showing all around by Adams Central, getting their first state championship since 2000. So 24 years, first state championship for their head coach, Michael Moser, who's an alumnus of the school. So, and we've had him on the show. I mean, that program, that community, those kids, it has become a football factory in some respects, just by virtue of what they've been able to do, and just how the tides have churned there over the years. I think over 150 wins now for coach, and just a great group of guys. And in fact, we're delighted tonight now, as part of our state championship celebration show, to be joined by some of the Adams Central captains. I'm going to bring everybody in here, and we're going to try this for once. So we've got Drew Carr, Jarrett Smith, Jamison Roach, and bring everybody in here. Make sure I have do I got everybody in? Am I missing anybody? I think I got everybody. Who else do we got? Make sure everybody identifies. Like Jarrett, Jamison, who's with you guys?
That's Matt and Aaron. I don't think we have Drew.
Is Drew? Am I missing Drew? Did Drew drop out? I thought I saw his name earlier. Hold on a second.
I have not seen Drew.
Oh, Drew was in there for a second. He might. There he is.
Can we put 5 in there? Yes, we can.
Sure, look at that. There we go. Look at that. Okay, it looks like Scrabble or the Brady Bunch tonight, but we'll figure out the layout as we go here. But first of all, guys, congratulations to all of you, state champions, Adams Central. Wow. I mean, for you guys, and maybe we'll start with Drew, one of the senior captains of this team. Talk about Friday, winning that state championship and bringing it home to Adams Central.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
I mean, it was awesome. Just for starters, I mean, I've played with these guys since I was, like I said, 7, 8, 9, 10, whenever it was. Like, I played with the seniors since then, and it was so cool to go down there. And like we've been down there the last couple of years, but to get to go down there and just, it's on us this year to go down there and win. That's just super, super, super cool.
Yeah. This year, I mean, the preparations, you guys were able to go down there the last 4 years. Jamison, the big game for you as a sophomore quarterback, the experience from a year ago for you, a younger guy on this team coming back this year. And for all this team that they've been there, for the seniors that have been there for 4 years, just talk about what that meant for you guys, to just going through and getting back there, knowing what to expect when you hit Lucas Oil Stadium, Jamison.
Yeah, I think since we've been there, it really gave us an advantage over them. Just like knowing like what's going to happen, knowing all the cameras that are on you, knowing all the media and press, all the spotlight. Just really, we've gotten used to it, and we could use that to our advantage to win. I think that was a big key.
Sure. Talk about the game there on Friday. it's kind of been business as usual for you guys. And this is, to Jarrett here, this game, business as usual for Adams Central. I mean, it looked like business as usual. Talk about the preparation and really the messaging all week, coming out of semi-state, getting back to state, and really trying to finish the job.
I mean, after the semi-state win, we knew it was going to be tough. We prepared the same as we have been all year, took it all seriously, and we just did our jobs.
Yeah. How cool is it to see for Coach Moser, a guy who's been around the program a long time, there with you guys, and just the ability for him to win a championship for you guys. Just talk about that a little bit, and really we'll go with Aaron on this one. Sorry, I had the list in front of me, whoever's here. Aaron, for you, how special was Friday to win a state championship and really to get one for Coach too?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. He's been down there 3 years. We fell short, unfortunately. So to get a win for the team and for all the coaches, it was just huge for us and the community.
Now, let's see, Matt, have you answered any questions yet? You're going to get put under the spotlight now.
Yeah.
Second leading rusher in this game, 94 yards. You're kind of what makes things go there initially. Talk about the game and the standpoint. Did anything catch you off guard from Linton Stockton that maybe either you were expecting from them or were surprised of how easy it was eventually to, run the football with how effective you guys were running it?
I don't think anything really surprised us. We knew they're 52, really good linebacker. We knew he was going to hit hard to come at us. But we knew all year long, we've been saying, coach has been saying, we get 2 to 3 yards every carry. I mean, that's good. That's all we need. We're content with that. So I know coming in there for me, I knew I was gonna get those yards, and I know it was gonna open up plays for like Jamie, Aaron, them run the ball even more. I don't think anything really surprised us. We saw what they were gonna do on film. We knew they were gonna hit hard, but we hit harder than them.
Yeah, you guys, their linebacker led I believe the state in Andrews was his name, and Voigt's was a good player too. But Andrews, I think he was one of the leading tacklers in the state of Indiana this year. Big kid, and was an impressive kid. But you guys on Friday, third down wise, you were 8 of 12 on the day, which is a phenomenal third down conversions, and 2 for 2 on fourth down, while Linton Stockton was 1 of 10 on third down with the 4 interceptions and possession time differential of about 5 minutes. In that second quarter, you guys held it for 8 minutes to their 352. Now, Jameson, there's 2 things. One, do you get to change the direction of the play at the line of scrimmage? And number 2, we've got to talk so we can get Coach Mosier to throw the ball a little bit more than 7 times, okay?
Yeah, I don't get to do it every single play. We have certain design plays where I'm allowed to give a call, and we can switch it from like a 34 to a 35, just switch the direction of the play. But that's only on certain plays. I don't know if we ran it all on Friday.
Well, you guys were running the counter very effectively, whether it was you handing it off to your wing back, coming back the other way, kind of a misdirectional play, and then you ran a couple of them off of the fake and then heading back to the weak side. So that play in itself was probably your best gaining play of the day, and really gave Linton Stockton fits and all of this on Saturday. But now Max is defensively, you guys pretty much shut them down. I mean, you had a team that could throw the football pretty good, and they had some nice size receivers in this game, but it was a similar offense to what you guys run there at Adams Central. Only difference was it was a shotgun as opposed to being the center, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, it was interesting to see the 2 different styles of this game play out, and then the second half, the second quarter, did you feel that helped the defense? And I know a lot of you guys go both ways. Does it help when like an offense can hold the ball as long as you did on Friday, than having to go back out and play defense on a quick turnaround? Anybody that wants to take that, if it's, was it Jarrett here?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not boxes because these guys didn't put their names in.
Hold on a minute. I can take that so we can see everybody's names.
Hey, look, I'm an old man.
There we go.
There we go. There we go.
Producing from the booth here.
Yeah, that's right. Jared, you want to speak to that in itself and from that perspective? And then Drew, you can talk a little bit about your defense here in a second, but how does it feel for you guys from the standpoint? Is it better? Do you feel like it's better for you guys to be on offense for a period of time versus being on defense like Linton Stockton? They just couldn't get off the field in the second quarter defensively.
I mean, going both ways, it's always like difficult because you get tired and stuff, but I don't know. It doesn't really make a difference to me. I can't speak for everyone else. I just like being on the field the whole time.
Well, now, Drew, here's a question for you, and as well as the defense. You end up with 9 total tackles on Friday, and a bunch of you guys, like I said, 4 interceptions on the day. Talk about how different it is going from playing in the cold weather a week ago up in Andrean to playing in the dome. And you talked about the experience of that and how that it's a very dehydrating environment. And I know that Coach was probably on you guys to start hydrating earlier in the week. Talk about that, maybe some things that you guys have learned just from that experience alone about preparing your body to play inside.
Well, I think it goes back to the fact that we've been there 4 years in a row. Like we knew going in, it's hot in there. There's not that much airflow. It's hard to breathe, and it is very dehydrating, like you said. And Coach started telling us Friday night after Andrean to start drinking water, and I think all of us did a very good job at that. And I mean, I can't speak for everyone on the team because I don't really play both ways. I'm more of a defensive guy. But I know that if you wouldn't have been hydrating, it would have been really tough because even just playing defense, I was getting, out of breath a little bit and getting tired. And another big deal is the sweat. Like just because it's so hot in there, you just end up sweating a lot more and you get sweat in your eyes. You got to have towels to wipe it off. But going from playing in the cold to the warm, I mean, I like playing in the cold. I think that there's a kind of a difference if you're more on like the tougher side, I would say our team it's a little easier to play in the cold. But yeah, it is. It's very warm in there, and you gotta really prepare yourself for that.
One last question here, and maybe Jameson or maybe some of you older guys may have a better appreciation for this, but talk about playing football at Adams Central and what it means to the community, because just like every game that we've had the privilege of having you guys during the years over the last 3 or 4 years, and then being there at the state championship, that community really is a very supporting community, and the turnout for that game from your community was pretty cool to see. And then of course you had the pep session when you came back that evening. I think it was scheduled for 6. So Jameson or any older guys want to talk about, that support that you get by being an athlete at Adams Central, irregardless of maybe sport, but football has a real family approach and feeling to it.
Oh yeah, I think the community as a whole, I said this whenever I was getting interviewed on Friday, I think that we probably have the best community in the state and the best fan base in the state. I think that there's some of the most supportive people out there. Like everybody there that comes and watches the games, that wake up at 6 a.m., that line the streets to go watch us, send us off to state. And everybody that was there, whenever we came back to the pep session, cheering us on. Everybody that drove the 2 hours to go watch the state game, everybody just does their part and is really just a big part in our success and how good we are. I don't know if you two or anyone else wants to talk about it.
Yeah. Anybody else, if you want to pipe in just from your own experience.
Yeah, looking at some of this video, what is this like, guys? I mean, Aaron, when you come home to this, you guys are state champions. It's still light out by the time you guys get home too. People line the streets. I mean, the fireworks. I think they did that when you guys went off the semi-state too, at 6:00 in the morning. I mean, this welcome home. What was it like to finally just kind of, we did it? I mean, just talk about, but that for the community.
I mean, it was surreal. I mean, it was awesome. It's just a testimony to how incredible our community is and how supportive they are of us. We had a packed out pep session when we got back there to cheer us on the win, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we appreciate you guys coming on tonight. I know it's been a crazy week for you with Thanksgiving and the state championship, and here we are live on our state championship celebration show, and wanted to have the Adams Central Flying Jets on to represent you guys for all the work that you've done in the last 4 years, really. And Jameson, I know you're a sophomore, so just the two and being a chance to play, but we appreciate it so much, and best of luck to you guys in your futures. I know a lot of you are wrestlers. I'm sure some of you do track and field, maybe a little bit of basketball in there, just depending. But we certainly will be watching, and we're glad that you joined us tonight. And congratulations to you all on winning the 2A state championship.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good one, guys. Congrats again.
All right. We'll click everybody out of here. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you down the road. I'll try to hit all the buttons here. All right, Coach. That was our 2A state champion, Adams Central Flying Jets. And just what a performance and what a season. And it all goes back. We talk about it every week. Week 1, they lose to Garrett 20-7. And we thought, okay, 3 straight trips to the state finals. Maybe this team is just going to take a step back this year. And boy, were we wrong in the sense that after week 3 or 4 or 5, we realized, okay, this is the same Adams Central, and Garrett's really good too. Shout out to them. But what a magical run for them. And to finally get over that hump, I mean, it's hard to get to state, and it's hard to, when you lose, and then it's hard to get back, and to get back 3 times and now a 4th time and finally win. I mean, those guys, it's got to be just so relieving to walk out of there with those blue medals this year.
Well, and I think a lot of people thought the game against Garrett was some type of fluke as well. And oh, by the way, Garrett was a pretty darn good football team as well. And, but I said this on the broadcast, that loss probably did more good for them than what people may thought. Because here's a team that was so accustomed to winning every time they hit the field, and their last loss being in the state finals, and they're, here we go for the new season, and they all of a sudden have to face adversity in the first week. And for a week, people asking the question, what's wrong with you guys? Why didn't you beat them? What's going on? All of a sudden, instead of getting the pats on the back and the attaboy type of cheering, they got questioned by many. Probably what was the deal in that regard. So I think that loss helped them for the rest of the year, because they already had faced adversity. They already knew what had happened, how they lost that game, what was needed to correct it. And Coach Mosier is too good of a football coach not to flip the script on it and utilize it as a motivating tactic to get his kids on the right framework as they head for the rest of the year. Really good coaching staff. They do a tremendous job there. Now, they are not a team that's going to be a bunch of 6'3", 6'4" guys walking around the hallways. And we're talking guys in the offensive line that are $190 at times, because that's what they have. And they do it for how many years they're running that offense, and they get really good at it. And, they find the guy that can run the show, like Jameson, only being a sophomore, playing above that on Saturday. And he's going to be a heck of a leader for them. And it's only going to boost their ability moving forward. But the thing they'll have to guard against is moving to 3A.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I think they're locked in for this 2-year cycle.
Oh, I know, but
You never know. We saw Dwanger get moved week 2 a couple years back and any of that. But
I think it's a great thing to see a team who finished runner-up the last couple years and they get moved up because of quote unquote success factor, however they do it. But not only to do that, but go to 2A and win it. I mean, that just shows you how good of a football team this group is.
And you know what? And we didn't ask the guys because you play who's in front of you, but I wonder what it was like when they found out Indy Lutheran wasn't going back too. I mean, that probably helps a little bit in the sense of just the psychology of it, because and part of them probably wanted to play Indy.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I guarantee you.
At that point, you get back last 4 seasons for Adams Central real quick, 63-8 from 2020 through 2024. That's an 88.7 winning percentage. Indy Lutheran leads the state in that time frame at 64-4. Center Grove out of 6A is third at 59-9. But Adams Central top, you look at 5 seasons and 6 seasons and 10 seasons, what they've been able to do. And, these small schools that these guys have been around for a while. And we know that for these guys, they've been around a while and been together since probably they started school in kindergarten there. And 124 and 24 is Adams Central. 100 games above 500 for 10-year streak. That is very impressive, and we certainly congratulate all those guys. We want to make sure we get their names. I was asking all day long to see who it was. Jarrett Smith, Jamison Roach. We also had Drew Carr, Matt Heiser, and Aaron Hershey. We had Max Carr on last week ahead of semi-state, and Coach Moser couldn't join us. There's a state coaches conference tonight, but he said, have my captains on. They're great to talk to. And so we congratulate him. We certainly wanted to have him on, but the schedules didn't align tonight. So we wish him the best of luck going forward. And all those guys, you'll hear from them in wrestling season, some of them in basketball, probably baseball and track as well later on this school year. And we'll hear about them again next year, I think, because they're going to have a lot coming back. So congratulations to Adams Central, your Class 2A state champions from 2024. Well,
I think they should get Monday off. Right?
There you go. Yeah. Well,
I'll get a phone call from the superintendent here pretty soon and saying not to say things like that.
Don't use our show as an excuse. You get called. No, but anyway. Well, and look, and we want to, another great opportunity, another state champion in our area that we want to highlight tonight. Moving on. Now, we'll talk about some of the other games here in a little bit, but wanted to get them on as well, joining us tonight. Carroll High School has a unified flag football team, and this year they are the state champions in that sport. It's a relatively new sport to the state of Indiana. It's a fully sanctioned sport in IHSAA, co-ed sport, boys and girls. And we're delighted now to be joined by 2 of their coaches from the team here, Tim Hoot and Vinny Bain from Carroll Unified Flag Football. Coaches, thanks so much for joining us tonight, and congratulations on your state championship.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Awesome. Congrats to Adams Central, too. That was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. This is our state championship celebration show. Well, you guys are state champions. I mean, I know it's been a couple weeks. It's kind of set in, I'm sure, for you guys a little bit. Talk about what the last couple weeks, this last month has been for Carroll's Unified Flag Football team to go down to state, to beat Carroll, another big-time team, and the opportunity to call yourselves and state champions at Carroll High School.
Well, the whole experience, I mean, going through sectionals, we had to win 3 games to get out of sectionals, and then regionals, and then state. And every single one of our games, we had to come back on that one. And it was just, I mean, insane is the only word I can think of, is of how this all played out and went through. And I mean, we had to play really well to beat some solid teams, and but there was luck involved too. It was, I mean, we were talking this morning, and just the little things that happened to put us in place to be state champs was incredible.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about this team. We got the picture up here on our Upon Further Review video podcast tonight of the flag football. What exactly, maybe some of people are not so familiar with what the unified flag football and champions together and unified sports here in Indiana. Just kind of talk about what it is and really how Carroll has embraced it and obviously leading to the state championship in flag.
So you're right. It is a sanctioned sport by Indiana high school athletics. They get letters, awards. A lot of people that are kind of new to the sport, I think, have a misunderstanding that it's like for lack of a better term, like a feel good thing. Everybody scores, everybody gets a trophy. It's not that at all. It is super competitive. And it gives those kids that don't normally get a chance to experience, what sports are all about, what high school sports are all about, with the daily grind of practices and the highs and lows of winning and losing. It's all there for those kids, and it's been a game changer for like my family and. I think for the Carroll community too, how they've embraced us and these kids walk through the halls like they're state champs now. And it's just something you cannot take away from them.
Yeah. Tim Hoot and Vinny Bain joining us here from the Carroll Unified Flag Football Team. Tim, you're an assistant coach too. I mean, just talk about the growth that you saw through the year, to get to this point, and really the improvement that you see from these kids as the season goes on, like you would anywhere else, any other football team, the improvement and the love of the sport and the opportunity for these kids to take that chance.
Absolutely. They improved the whole year long. A lot of our athletes were first-time players. They might have been soccer players or basketball players, not necessarily football players, but they don't know terminology. They don't know the plays, but by the end of the year, they all came together and just did an outstanding job. And we've had a lot of kids who've been there for 3 or 4 years that they just know the system, know what we want out of them, and they played their tails off down at state. And it's just an awesome thing to watch. How many plays these kids make and the amazing plays they make are incredible. And even a lot of our young women just make great football plays all year.
Yeah, we're watching some of these highlights here, and you guys are slinging it all over the place, which is what I like to see being an old quarterback in my days and playing and then coaching collegiately. But, we talk about football being a great teacher of life lessons. And some things are just not taught in the classroom or anywhere else, but the sport of football can be a great teacher of life lessons. Talk a little bit about that impact that you're trying to impart upon these kids through the game of football and how that has gone a long way in helping them as well through these, crazy years of high school. I mean, irregardless of background, where they're from, what they do or what they don't do, everybody has to go through high school. And this is a platform for them to go out and compete, which I think is an awesome thing for kids that want to compete. And that's the greatest thing about it.
Correct. One of the things we say all the time is just next play. You make a bad play, you got to forget about it and just go to the next play. And the kids do a great job of that. They don't get down. Even when we were behind a couple times in sectionals or regionals, it's just next play, keep playing. They learn how to not give up, to give their best. And, some years we don't win state every year, but this year it all came together. So they learn a lot of valuable life lessons. They learn how to be teammates, which a lot of times You don't learn in the classroom. So it is a great teacher about life, no doubt.
Well, and exactly, because you mentioned about 3 or 4 things there: adversity, play the next play, getting up when you get knocked down, or winning with grace, and all the things that we try to impart upon them so they go out and become the productive young adults that we all know they can be. But also talk about the parent support that you guys have gotten this year as well, because I know in that video there, I saw a lot of smiley faces in the stands. And for those moms and dads, it's a pretty surreal event for them. But talk about that aspect and how that support for you as coaches is so invaluable.
Oh, that the support we get from the parents and I can just go even farther and say the community is just it is so impressive. Those parents, they put together tailgating events for us and snacks. They're out there cheering. They're vocal. It makes a difference to our players when we have their friends and family cheering us on. And any of the Carroll community, Mr. Ginder, our athletic director, totally makes this program possible and work for us, and pushes it forward. It's I can't. It's an understatement to say it's appreciated. It is. We need them. They're part of our team too.
Well, how many kids do you have involved in your program, and how many do you anticipate moving forward with this the flag football program there at Carroll, as it's gaining popularity, especially in and around Indiana and other states as well? But how many kids do you usually have on your roster per se?
Yeah, we usually have around 40 kids.
Wow.
Some are kind of managers. We have a lot of special needs kids that need a lot of attention. So those kids are invaluable, hanging out with them and helping them get where they need to be. For like the sectional roster, we have 20 kids. So there's usually around 7 to 8 special needs kids and 12 to 13 partners, we call them. But we're blessed at Carroll. We have tons of athletes that come out and participate. So in the area, we have one of the largest teams, which is just fantastic.
Well, yeah, 40 kids involved in it. That's just an amazing thing to hear. And, the other thing that I love to hear there too is that finding places for those that may or not wanting to compete, but want to be a part of something like this. Some of the best young men and ladies that I've been around have either been involved as a student manager or student coach, or in some respects at the collegiate level, we are around people that aspire to be athletic trainers, but they have a love for the game and the sport in some respects more so than you would ever think they do, because of being involved on a team, what you guys just talked about, being on a team. Just, briefly maybe expand upon that team concept. It takes a village and all that stuff that we hear out there, but the excitement these kids get from just being on a team, whether they're playing or finding an avenue to be a part of it, being at a student manager or whatever there is for them.
Yeah. So we've kind of embraced, since it's called Unified Sports, we've really embraced that at Carroll. So just for example, like for the state championship, we had, and sectionals and regionals, we had 20 kids on the roster. All 20 kids played in the championship game. I think we threw to like 12 different kids in total. And we even kind of go both ways. We have kind of an offensive team and a defensive team. So most kids get a ton of playing time. And all the managers go with us. So we really try to embrace that unified spirit of getting everyone involved. We definitely have some better players, but we don't just use one or two players. It's truly a unified effort for us to win a game.
Absolutely. Well, it's such a great to have you guys on tonight to talk about this. It kind of crossed our wires a couple weeks ago, right in the middle of sectionals and stuff. And so I thought, as time went on, maybe with the state championship show, we'd get a couple teams down there to Indy, and so it all worked out. Wanted to have Carroll on tonight, and we appreciate you guys coming on and all the work that you guys do. It's what, flag football in general, fastest growing sport in Indiana is what the IHSA and the Colts say, and unified, adding, Special Olympics and all of that. That has become a big part of it, and giving kids of all abilities the opportunity to play. And we certainly congratulate the Carroll Chargers on your state title, and best of luck, because other unified sports at Carroll too. I know track's pretty good. You guys got basketball. Just a great opportunity, and great opportunity for other kids in the school to come out and partner with those kids.
Yep. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Congrats, guys. Appreciate your effort and hard work as well.
All right. Thanks so much. That was Vinny Bain and Tim Hoot, two of the coaches from Carroll High School's unified flag football team that won the state title this year. And certainly we congratulate them, and just, smiles all around. You see boys, you see girls, you see different age groups, and I think so many different kids represented there. And that's what the unified movement is trying to do. The Special Olympics, partnering with the IHSA, the Champions Together movement, very big. A lot of schools in our area do it, Coach, and just opportunities to learn, like you mentioned, sports, athletics, teamwork, hard work, being part of a team, representing your school. I mean, think of it. Some of those kids that would, got the chance to put Carroll on their jerseys and win a state title. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, these guys, again, I applaud the school systems that have embraced these opportunities, again, about competing and playing in high school sports, and finding something that, kids can be involved with, because that's the one thing with athletics in general, is that, when you provide opportunities for kids athletically, musically, I can go down the list. It keeps them involved, and it gives them something to look forward to each and every day. And all these kids that were a part of this team here that wins the state championship, it's as important to them as winning any type of conference championship, because it requires the effort, the dedication to go out each and every day and try to learn something new, how to get better. And those are the life lessons that I talk about, that ultimately lend to teaching them that when opportunity is there for them and they face some adversity, they learn how to fight through things. And when you fight through things on a daily basis, at the end of the day, when you can walk or have an opportunity to win a championship, the battle it took to get there. And those kids are going to remember that for their entire life. That will be something that they will always have to reminisce about, and moms and dads and grandparents and all those associated with this. It's a really neat thing. And I applaud any school that has incorporated this within their athletic curriculum. Mr. Ginder and what he's done at Carroll, and other high schools that are doing it within and around the area. I think it's a great thing to see, and I hope it continues to grow for these young people, because we need this. We need opportunities for kids to have the ability to go compete in something. And it's a one-way thing that keeps a kid involved all day, every day. And it also implies to them that working in a team environment, and how that in itself is worth its weight in gold.
Absolutely. Champions Together Initiative is what it's called, from the state of Indiana, with the IHSA partnering with Special Olympics Indiana. 2012, then IHSA Commissioner Bobby Cox challenged the IHSA Student Advisory Committee to find an organization to partner with to build and maintain a legacy of servant leadership. So the students in 2012, the leaders that have gone on.
Yeah,
started.
the student advisory group has become a big part with the IHSAA. And sometimes as adults, we speak too much and not listen enough. And Bobby at least had the foresight to take this from the kids and found a way to blend it into what is the IHSAA and how that has now erupted something that I guarantee you they didn't think this far in terms of how it would impact them. And that's the neat part of those student advisory committees, because, hey, look, these teenager kids are smart. And sometimes we don't give them enough credit. And we want to say that you're a young person, sit in the corner and watch and zip it. But sometimes these kids have some great ideas and how they can involve the community. And that's the one thing that I think is the neat part of this. They saw a need for something that encompassed the entire community. And that's why it's a neat initiative. And I applaud the IHSAA. I've been involved with the IHSAA before. My father was a part of the IHSAA for a number of years when he was coaching, and then me being in college ball and things of that nature. So like I said, anything that enables kids to compete and gives them that opportunity, I think is a neat way to do a lot of things that they may not learn on a daily basis in the classroom. But add sports into the mix, it teaches a lot of things for those kids.
46 schools across the state of Indiana.
That's wow. 46
in different sports. They have track and field, bocce ball, I think I saw in there, unified bowling, unified robotics, and esports. That's
another thing that's huge. Esports is making its play in college as well.
And I tell you, Northeast Indiana is in the unified flag football has done pretty good. Carroll, the state champions this year, beating Carmel. DeKalb, the state runners up a year ago. So, I think the challenge has been laid that, hey, Northeast Indiana unified flag football is really on the upswing here. So thank you to those guys from Carroll. Congratulations to them.
Pickleball,
and that's pretty cool to see. And we certainly wanted to feature that. If you're interested in that in your school, just real quickly, contact your school, your athletic director, your guidance counselor, say how your kids can get involved. Wonderful programming that a lot of schools in the state have.
And thanks to these coaches, let me say this. Yeah. Thanks to these coaches that do this as well, irregardless if it's Carroll, DeKalb, or whoever it may be. Yeah. These are the people that are willing to step in or step up to the plate and be a part and do something that provides that quote unquote servant leadership that every community needs, every high school needs. And it's because of these coaches that embrace these opportunities for these kids and then give of their time to do it. I think that in itself is the neat part of this equation as well, because they see the benefits that it's going to be for those kids. And, I commend them for being a part of it. Anybody that loves the sport of football like I do, I don't care if it's tackle, flag, or however you want to look at it, is all right in my book, because we need more of it. We need more of it to impact our communities throughout. And I hope it continues to grow as well as the sport in general grows, because of you just can't put a price tag to what this brings to the table for these kids and the people that are involved with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Carroll, your high school flag football state champions for unified sports. This Adams Central state champions at 2A. We did have 3 other games, Coach, that we touched on real quickly that unfortunately didn't pan out for our local teams, but nevertheless, they did get down to state finals in Class 3A. we had Bishop Lures. They fell in their state championship game. A tough one for them, coach, and just got behind early.
Yeah.
Just could never get back in that game as they move up to Class 3A, and they fall in the state championship.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things when you get into these type of games, everything becomes magnified. And we knew that Heritage Hills was going to be a tough opponent for them. And, 328 yards on the ground, the Jet Goldsberry kid, is another phenomenal player. But, the run that Lures had in terms of, beating Mississinawa, beating McConaughey, beating Garrett to get to this, the path to get there, those kids have nothing to hang their heads about at all. And again, can't say enough about the coaching that Coach Lindsay provides there with him and his staff and preparing their kids. I think he's one of the better coaches that finds out what his teams are good at and, goes to it and sticks to it, just like he did in the Garrett game when he limited what they were doing in the second half, and that completely changed that game. And so it's tough to see it when these guys work so hard at it, and they're a tradition program, but you just when you fall behind like that, it's always an uphill battle. And 24-7.5, and they just they just couldn't get a lot going there as the day went on. But then again, it is one of those things that there's nothing to hang their head on.
Absolutely. 14-0 after one. Heritage Hills was leading Lures to 24-7.5. Final score 38-15. Jet Goldsberry, the quarterback, 177 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Hunter Meredith, 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. 334 team rushing yards for Heritage Hills. Goldsberry, I believe his dad played in the NFL. I saw that somewhere. Not totally familiar with the name, but just was able to light up the stat sheet all season long. Really prolific on what he was able to do. Daria Williams for Lures, 139 yards. Devin Patterson got the 1 rushing touchdown, and Jace White threw for a passing touchdown, 7 for 17 with 44 yards. So, 248 yards on the ground. They just couldn't muster, and realistically too, the turnovers. We talked about it for Lures all year, 45 coming in, and just wasn't able to garner those turnovers so that they could, get extra possessions and get back in the game. And for them, that was kind of all she wrote.
Yeah. And again, it's just like you said, you can't, get to the point where you're behind that much and find ways to get back in it. And, they're better when they're playing in a tight ball game and they can utilize some of their talent to close the gap.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lures drops the 3A title game. 4A was East Noble and jumped out early. First play from scrimmage, the 80-yard bomb from Riley Biddle to Logan Hatton. But then it was all New Pal after that, coach, and bigger, stronger, just a different kind of team than what East Noble had seen all year. And the Dragons and New Pal took it to the East Noble Knights.
Well, yeah, and it was a great first way to start the game, big, punch in the mouth to New Pal. But I'm going to say this right now. New Pal was a very good football team from A to Z. And the Jacob Davis kid is a heck of a quarterback. He gets the ball in and out of his hands quick. And then you see the Reigns and Jacobia, almost identical numbers. And those two were impressive. Caden Jacobia, he had probably one of the fastest guys on the team, I would say. They're just both really good running backs and a good offensive line and a stingy defense. That was the tough part on the day for East Noble, not being able to get off the field and then big plays and things of that magnitude. But the positive side on that one is Dylan Carroll getting awarded the John Tester Award, which I think
Yeah.
is a huge honor for a kid in the state championship game to be recognized for that honor. And I know that he would trade it in tomorrow for a state championship. But I think that goes a long way to show what that young man is about. And not that he's not the only one there, because that whole team, I think, needs to be commended for the type of athletes they were, but more importantly, the sportsmanship that they have shown all year.
Yeah, absolutely. 23 seniors on that. And I was up at East Noble earlier that week to do a little state finals preview for PSM, and talking to Dylan Carroll, like, they came in with 25 seniors from 8th grade to freshman year. By the end of it, there were still 23 guys who played football all 4 years. So for Alex Stewart to come in his first year and to be a state championship game coach, those 23 seniors helped him. And look, Riley Biddle comes back. There are several other juniors that will make it back next year. Now they know what it's like to get down there. Now they know what it takes and what the other team from the Indianapolis area is like, because I think that always becomes the narrative too. And I think that's going to benefit them, because I know Alex Stewart is their strength and conditioning coach there. Luke Amstutz has always been big in that as well. And so I think as a program, they're going to stand up better just by virtue of going through this. And like Dylan said on the field on Saturday afternoon, or Friday afternoon, I should say, we didn't quit at all. Even when we were down, even when the score was apparent that we were going to lose that game, we didn't give up. And it was 56-26. I mean, the fact that East Noble put 26 on a team like New Powell was pretty decent too. I mean, East Noble had 18 to win the semi-state. So, I mean,
Right.
not a bad showing. There were some late scores for the Knights, but a really great season all year. And of course, congrats to Dylan Carroll, who won the Mental Attitude Award for 4A football. And then that leaves 5A football coach Warsaw making their first trip to state, and a really tough Decatur Central team that made it to state a year ago. They lose to Snyder. They make it back this year, and they win with Decatur Central knocking off Warsaw in that game. And so Warsaw comes up a little short too in the 5A game, and pull up that score real quick. 38-24 Decatur Central does. There again, Warsaw was able to strike early, but just got wore down as time went on through that game.
Well, and they were facing a pretty good quarterback in the Bull Polston kid, who's the Division I commit to Toledo, I believe. He was 12 of 17 on the day, 2 touchdowns, 147 yards. But, Decatur Central ran the ball really well for 274 yards. Now, Warsaw rushes it for 337, which isn't anything unexpected for them because they're very good at that. But when it was 24-10 at half, it automatically changed that in terms of what Warsaw was going to have to do, which is something that they don't do in a very comfortable fashion, was trying to throw the football. And that's where you got the 2 interceptions in the game. And that's just that offense. It's hard to play from behind when you're that type of team and the team across from you is rushing it and throwing it with effectiveness. So, hey, again, the job that they've done there at Warsaw in a short period of time, happy for Coach. He does a heck of a job. He is a guru with what they do. If you want to learn what Warsaw does, Coach Curtis is the best guy to go do it. He has his own clinics. He has his own summer camps, and he does it all. So, and we had the young man from last week on here, and he talked about the impact of the community that Coach Curtis has in terms of the youth program there. So, great year. I don't think that will be the last time we see a Warsaw team potentially down there, because I think they're going to have some good teams coming around, up and through the ranks here shortly.
Yeah, it should be good to see. Warsaw first ever trip to state, a program that started in 1901. I believe the count was their 1088th game was the 5A state championship. They never had won. 1907, I think they were the mythical champions. That sounds like Purdue fans counting mythical champion. But anyway, nevertheless, great season for Warsaw. Congrats to them. Drew Sullivan, their quarterback, also won the Mental Attitude Award in Class 5A. So what a way to end his career. You always want to win that state championship, but there is a little bit of consolation when your teammate wins the Mental Attitude, because that's going to help you a lot more in life. And
absolutely.
You're a leader. I mean, we talk about leaders, and we've seen a lot of great leaders on this program this year. And to see guys like Drew Sullivan and Dylan Carroll lead their team, that's something special, because there's a lot of seniors and you start to get a lot of captains on a team, but there's only one Mental Attitude Award winner in the class for the entire state, and really 6 when it comes down to it for football. So congratulations to those two guys. Congratulations to all the teams from our area, all the conference champions, the sectional champions, regional, semi-state, and just wonderful. A lot of all conference. And Coach, 2024 is coming to an end. Pretty soon it's going to be signing day, and we're going to see all these kids go to college.
Yeah, early
Logan and Brock Schott and Landon Hepner and Landon Fry, and the list goes on and on.
Well, it starts
pretty
on
soon
Wednesday.
we'll be ready for next year. I mean, just your final thoughts on this season and really what that sets for next year as we move forward.
Well, a lot of these guys are going to be signing Wednesday. That's how quick it's coming.
Yeah.
Wednesday is the early signing period and the de facto now signing date, as opposed to what it used to be in February. But, we've had a lot of great teams in the area. We've had a lot of kids that have been given the opportunity to play at the next level. I always say this, and sometimes I want kids and moms and dads to hear me when I say that if your son wants to compete at the collegiate level in football, there is a place for them to do that. Now, everybody wants a scholarship. I get that. But understand, full scholarships are only involved at the Division I level, and that's at the highest level. Everything from that point on is either financial aid or academics, and that includes D3, where academics is the scholarship that they're going to be awarded with to go to a D3 school. So if a young man has a desire to compete at the next level and they can find a place for them to go do that, by all means, go do it, because it's going to be worth every penny for them to continue doing what they love and have a passion for. And those guys that are now the de facto seniors, as we move forward here, now that the football season is officially over, now it's your time. Now it's the time for you to be in the weight rooms. It's easy to go play a game on Friday night. What's hard about the game of football is what you do off the field. The weightlifting, going early in before everybody else. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Not everybody does it. So just remember, when you're wanting to win and you're wanting something bad enough, what are you willing to sacrifice to go achieve it? And that is what getting up in the morning is about, and going in before school and lifting weights, or going to throw indoors somewhere to get better, or run routes, or whatever that may be. It's what are you willing to sacrifice to go be the best that you can be, not just on the field, but off the field as well. And that includes the classroom.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the all SAC list real quickly, 7 juniors to be seniors and 3 sophomores to be juniors coming back next year. Guys like Jaden Van Pelt and Drew Rudolph and so many different guys, through that we've seen all year long. D Hogue for Lures. So it should be a fun year. It'll be here before we know it. Again, next summer, we'll have all the previews and we'll have our show once again. But partner, it's been a great year, and I can't believe it's coming to an end, but we really appreciate everybody for tuning in this year. All the guests that we had, we try to get as many schools on as we can to represent all the areas, and I think we did a pretty good job of that. But Coach, I think we're desperately out of time for the season, so
it's only 8 months. We've got 8 months to get.
I know. Well,
right?
I'll be working on graphics all summer long. We'll be trying something new. But anyway, for Coach Shannon Griffith, I'm Eric Dudukevich. This has been Upon Further Review. Thank you so much. Congratulations to the state champion Adams Central Flying Jets, the unified state champion Carroll Chargers, all our teams who made it to state, and all of our local athletes on a fantastic season. We will see you again next season right here on Upon Further Review.
Happy holidays.